This is Darren Campbell with Confident Home Solutions, general contractor, remodeler in North Carolina. If you have an overactive pet or child superhero in your household, you're going to have the skill set to repair the damage that's caused by them. The following video will show damage that happens. After that, we will show how to repair that damage. So stick around, enjoy it, and hopefully you learn something to build that skill set for those overactive pets and children.
Dad.
What?
Dad.
What?
Dad, I want to play catch.
Sorry, son, I'm busy. Hey, why don't you play with your dog?
This is how it's going to work. I'm going to stay here. You go over there. I'm going to throw the ball to you. And you bring it back to me. Sound good? I'll accept that answer.
These are the items that you will need for this project. Drywall tape, drywall, a utility knife, speed square or square, 1 1/4 to 1 5/8 screws, a couple 3-inch screws, a high-speed drill. Refreshments are always excellent to have. A drywall knife and a drywall pan, and a small section of 1/2-inch plywood. Alright, if you're still here, that must be you're going to attempt to take this on yourself. You can do it. Alright, so let's get working on that skill. First thing you're going to need is a razor. This is a Milwaukee Fastback, and well, it is fast. This thing rides in my pocket every day. It doesn't have to be a Milwaukee. Stanley makes awesome ones, but you're going to need a utility knife. Some form of tape measure. Anything to transfer a measurement from this wall over. Now, we're not going to most likely use this much. For this method of repairing this drywall, you're still going to need it. All right, let's get working on this. Ooh, I like that. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why'd you stop, Darren? We didn't check for electrical or plumbing. Well, it's kind of low to the floor. That's right where the outlets are. Probably should check before you go in there with anything sharp. You don't want to be that guy or girl. Alright, let me reposition the camera. I'll get you in closer. Okay, we got the utility knife. What we're going to want to do is come in here and feel around and identify what all is missing, or if any larger pieces are coming loose. It really doesn't appear as though there is. So what we can do is come in here, let's cut some of this away. This is going to actually identify the size of the hole better. You'll be able to see the back side of the drywall by doing this also. This looks pretty good. All right, so this is where our tape measure comes into fact. We're measuring right here, topmost part that's damaged. So I'm going to be looking for a piece that's 8 inches wide and somewhere around, you know what, just to make things simple, I'm going to go 8 by 8. All right, let's get that piece of drywall cut. Okay, I realize not everybody has a speed square. They should be mandatory. I'm going to go ahead and mark 8 inches here. And do my 8 inches down here. Actually, I can go and cut that right now, since that's 8 inches. Yeah, lost my other line. All right, let's clean the edge of that up just a little bit. Can't imagine a lot of people having a rasp. All right. I think you kind of see where I'm going from here. So if we take this, now one thing I wanted to bring up, about 3/4 of an inch over is a stud. So we do have the option of hitting this right on top of the stud, right down the center. But I'm not going to do this for the sake of this video because most of the time people are not going to be hitting that stud. So what I'm going to do is hold it off to this edge right here, and we are going to trace this thing. All right, another thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna mark it, because when you put this back up here, you'll find out. You're like, hey, I'm glad I marked that, because sometimes this piece that you originally cut doesn't always fit. All right, so I'm gonna proceed to cut this just with a drywall. Now we would use a multi-tool typically, or our Makita drywall saw, which is awesome. There will be a video coming on that. But showing people that this can be done. Right on the edge of that. All right, now this may be, well, that's not bad. We can live with that. Shazam! All right, so the next step is I gotta get my boards cut for this. Let me get them cut. We'll be back. All right, so grab your tape measure. We already know this is 8 inches. So if we add an additional at least 2 inches on each end, we're up to 12 inches. Hey, let's go a little bit more. Let's go 13 inches. So let me get those cut. All right, the next thing would be the boards. Now, remember we went 13 inches, so we're roughly 2.5 inches longer on both sides. I actually a lot of times like to, you don't have to do this, but go ahead and do a line. This next step is important to keep you from dropping this board down to the bottom of the wall. Sometimes when you're working in an awkward hole, this one here is rather large, you don't have a problem with it. But you see that line right there? Let me show you what I'm going to do. I've attached a long screw right above that line. And you can see, you can imagine putting it in like so, working it up, bringing it down, and resting it. By doing that with that screw, it allows you to it gives you a reference mark. That way I can move on. And here's another tip. Sometimes all you'll be holding on to is that long screw. So when you come in here with this screw here, let it come up against the drywall and just run wide open. You don't want to pull it in too far like I did right there, but we'll fix that. Yeah, let me just take that out and relocate it. See, now I can take that 3-inch screw out. Okay, we're gonna do this side now. I've already held it up here. I gave myself a line here and a line here. Sometimes you won't be able to hold this piece of wood with your hand around there. It happens. So that screw really helps, and plus it locates it up and down. Now don't be using really long screws. You don't need to be using 2-3-inch screws to screw this in. These are like 1.25 inches. That's perfect for what we're doing here. Now, much like these right here, they pulled past the paper. Alright, that should do it right there. Yeah, I do gotta take my 3-inch screw out. Would you look at that? Get your handy dandy utility knife out. Let's bevel these a little bit. Clean up the edges. It's not bad. You don't want anything proud. It should be good. Grab our tape, pan, and our knife. Okay, now that we have our mud, our knife, and our tape, we're ready to get this thing done. Now, when you're applying this mud, remember on your first pass, you don't care about getting the entire thing done. That's not our goal. Our goal is just to get the tape on, and subsequential muddings will actually do the finishing. it's a little thick, but the demonstration of this video, it's perfect. All right, I'm just doing a light little coat. That'll work. You are done for the day. It's going to take a couple more coats. Typically it takes at least 24 hours to dry. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. We had a lot of fun making it. It's a lot of fun working with a superhero and his overactive pet. Well, that overactive pet's my son's Czech Shepherd, so we definitely enjoy that. Hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. The reason is we have 2 additional videos coming out concerning that same drywall repair. So if you don't like using the plywood method, we'll show you 2 alternatives for doing that same repair. Well, that same wall that we did the repairs on, later on after we get past those videos, we're going to do some wall anchor testing. Drywall anchor is what I mean by that. At where they fail at, you know, different weights that are applied to them. So look forward to those. Once again, this is Darren Campbell with Confident Home Solutions. We love what we do and it shows in our work.